Just found this rather interesting image on the internet of this Mandelbrot type fraction in 3D. Rather unusual to see a 3D fractal render. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, let's use this image to discuss hue saturation, just some basics about the hue saturation dialog in Photoshop. So I'm going to begin by going into my adjustment layers and choosing hue and saturation. Basically, this is a place where we can adjust colors either globally or singly as per color channel. We can increase the saturation very simply by grabbing the saturation slider and bumping up the colors, thereby increasing the saturation, adding more color. And obviously we can reduce the color all the way down to desaturating the image, thereby rendering this image in its monochrome black and white version by siphoning the color off there. Take that back to its 0 value there. So increase the saturation, move the slider to the right, decrease it, move to the left. You should never really need to bother with this lightness slider. This is something that you just won't have to touch, so leave that set to 0. If I were to touch the hue slider, it would change every color in the image and remap it to a different color. And again, this is something that you would never really do unless you were just trying to create some sort of special effect. So you can see by moving this slider, these colors are being remapped and placed to different positions on the color wheel, thereby rendering different colors. You can try that with any of your images. You may like the effect, but again, it's not something that you would normally do, reserved for a special effect. So again, I'll reduce that value back to 0. One other thing to mention in here, that if you want to produce a duotone type image kind of effect, or a toned image, click the colorize button and then choose your actual tone by adjusting the hue slider either one way or the other. You'll be moving through the various color wheel by doing this being a popular sepia tone. I'll just cancel that. I'm just going to close this image and just show you that with a different image. Let's have a look. Let's see what we've got in here. I don't think there's anything that's appropriate there. And let's just try that again. So we choose this image here and we go back into our hue saturation slider. Moving this slider, you can see what strange effect. It's remapping and spinning all of the colors around, basically remapping them according to this color wheel here. Once again, that's probably something that you wouldn't want to do, but let's choose the colorize slider, and you may well want to experiment with adding some sort of sepia tone look to your image, or any blue tone, any color tone to your image. But most people would be playing around there and reducing the saturation of that tone to give you a nice subtle sepia tone effect. So that's just a basic introduction to the hue saturation adjustment layer effect.